continue to give Irelia over to TL, making Quas play yet another matchup into that could be advantageous.
Still no Azir allowed for Fenix, and I wouldn't let him play it either, so I think NRG's bans so far make a pretty good amount of sense. Trundle also seems to be king of the fighters top lane. I can't think of one that like really beats him very well one-on-one, and so kind of allowing Quas to have a good matchup that could work seems to be worth it. Kindred banned away, Bard also. Yeah,
as far as the top lane still being figured out by a lot of players, one thing that does seem to be mostly figured out is that Trundle might be the best. He wins almost all lane matchups, especially when you're with guys like Lourlo and Quas, and split pushing is a big deal. He just becomes an even higher priority, so it's banned. Interesting, though, that Vladimir is able to go over once again to Team Liquid, and they banned Bard instead.
Right, so theoretically, Trundle was contestable. I think the Bard ban makes sense, the Azir ban makes sense, but yes, Vladimir goes through here, so a nice champion for them. Jungler's also not really pinched. Of course, Rek'Sai and Nidalee both up, as are plenty of other great champions. Yeah, there's the one Kindred ban, but otherwise, we'll see what happens. There is maybe no easy matchup for Irelia anymore. I know we've seen some people play Swain into it when the other options were gone, so Haunter, I believe, was effective on that last night.
Yeah, I think Shen is the go-to.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen a Shen like, oh man, you can't pick Irelia because they can just Shen it.
Right.
But it's one of those things that just does okay. Irelia's never going to kill Shen. And they actually take the Irelia away.
Okay, so Irelia does get picked up here. That was the contest. And also it's going to be Nidalee, once again, considered to be very worthwhile. They first picked it, I believe, last time around. And once again, first round red side, it's going to be Santorin playing the champion yet again. Going with it, so maybe it happens again here. Of course, the Rek'Sai that Liquid used last game is still available, and maybe he goes for it.
Yeah, it's always the question with Dardoch, whether he'll go with the power pick or whether he wants to style a little bit, because obviously Olaf and Lee Sin have been really good for him, and they're going to hold off on their jungle pick, again just going for the move speed enhancers. That didn't work for them very well last game, and I wouldn't be too surprised to just see Anivia again, because that is something that worked out very well for NRG.
And it will be. The Anivia is actually locked in already before they even get the rest of these champions in. So
GBM's like, you want to go fast? Try to walk around this impassable terrain.
Absolutely, and it's kind of weird. I really don't like Sivir that much into Anivia. Braum also been picked up alongside, so a very similar team composition here for NRG. I would not be surprised to see Twitch once again. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. And
I agree.
All they did was sub out the Jax that was banned for an Irelia that Lourlo wanted to play.
And on the same side for Team Liquid, they might be okay going with a similar team comp as well, because they were winning the early game.
And they changed things around a little bit, so you're right. There's the Shen coming through once again. Shen into the Irelia, and an Olaf back in the mix for Dardoch. So at least now he has some nice hastes to make the Olaf even stickier, even if Ghost happens to be down.
Yep.
And a new tank in the top lane.
This is a better combo with the Sivir Karma than the Rek'Sai. And even though a lot of people do put the Rek'Sai on a higher tier than Olaf, we've seen Olaf banned as well, and I do think there's still a lot of exploration. When you're adding as Olaf to get sped up by a Sivir and a Karma, I actually think it would be a better pick. The question would be, is it a better pick into Anivia, who can still block you? And that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, the only actual tool that Liquid has to stop Glacial Storm, and I'm not even sure Shen Taunt does it. I think GBM actually can't be stopped in his ultimate. And the pick comes through as Vayne. So, although OQ has not had the best performances in this series, even the one they won, he had 3 deaths, the highest on his team. He will be trusted to play Vayne in this game. Vayne into Sivir, into the Sivir Karma. Definitely a difficult one.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. If they can get ahead, though, it becomes super favorable for the Vayne. Like, this is a pick that Piglet used to love to pull out against Sivirs. So OQ to be able to do this against the guy who's subbing in this week for Piglet is pretty clutch down the stretch. It's not the same type of team fight potency you would expect from Twitch, but boy, this would be an opportunity for OQ to get going.
Okay, so we might just see him take over this game. He had played it before. He beat Echo Fox playing the champion, but the way Echo Fox looks right now, that doesn't honestly mean that much, sadly. We'll see, though, if they can beat Liquid with his champion.
I think it's also a pretty good pick against the Olaf. Vayne is a tremendous duelist, and even though you can't condemn against the wall, Olaf has a really hard time like staying with Vayne. Like, it's a really good pick for a number of reasons, I think.
That's true. Very, very good. And to both the Shen and the Olaf, in fact. So could be really good things for OQ. The Vayne definitely makes sense matchup-wise. We'll see if it happens here. But we are now into the climactic Game 3. And it's the only game left here in the North American LCS for Saturday. Make your voice heard online. Let us know who it's going to be. Hashtag TL win. Hashtag NRG win for who it's going to be taking this Game 3. Liquid can move up to 3-3. NRG can pull themselves up a little bit themselves to get their second match win when they still have one more to go tomorrow, and maybe they can start to salvage this season with their second straight match win. Liquid could make it 3 in a row for themselves, and we are getting ourselves now into the Rift.
And I gotta say, this would be a really tough series for Team Liquid to lose based on how they dominated both early games in games 1 and 2, but then kind of fell apart down the stretch with some Dragon Steel. So it's kind of like, it's a freebie for NRG. This is, they shouldn't actually have been able to come back in that game aside from the Dragon Steel and some mistakes that Team Liquid made, but now they're in an opportunity where they can clearly beat Team Liquid and get the best of 3 win, and that's all that matters, is just the win at the end of it. So I love their team composition coming into this game. Team Liquid's composition isn't bad either, but I think there's a lot of opportunity for some outplays for NRG.
We'll see if NRG can get the outplays here. Vayne definitely one of the queens of that. Quas and Irelia also known for the trickiness, and we'll see just what can happen. NRG looking to try to dodge some of the lane matchups. If Twitch Braum was bad, Vayne Braum is honestly even worse. I think they really don't want to fight the 2-on-2. You would see an OQ get completely destroyed in the matchup last game. And you saw them kind of hide in their side of the map. They saw that there were no deep wards for Liquid, but looks like Liquid actually sniffing out the options, and they will match up in the 2-on-2.
That could end up being really bad for NRG.
Yeah.
Because while I do like a lot of the things that NRG's composition can do with, you can see the Anivia up against the Sivir and the Karma, and again, the Warlord's Bloodlust Vayne, which I would like more than the Warlord's Bloodlust Twitch, only because in duelist situations, she'll be able to lifesteal. I'll let you get in on that in a little bit. But if they end up going in standard lanes with these guys, there's a chance they have 2 out of 3 losing lanes and Dardoch could snowball. And that would be a quick way to fall out of this series. So they got to be very careful in the early game.
Going for the survive the lane Keystone Mastery. OQ is going to get himself into the lane. Looks like they did take the Krugs, and he got all the XP for the melee, so he's going to be okay with himself. Fabi did not get that same resource. He did not take Gromp down. So though NRG are temporarily down in health because of the Krugs, they're up in gold and up in experience.
Yeah, but then he takes 3 ricochet bullets because he's standing too close to the minion wave, making a hard lane potentially more difficult. That'll be a really interesting lane to watch.
Ooh, good taunt lands from Lourlo, doing some damage, and Quas is currently a little bit down to the matchup. A lot of poke goes down into KiWiKiD, both landing at least half their Qs. Puts up the shield, takes a couple auto attacks, and KiWiKiD will have to sustain back up. OQ getting ricocheted on, but honestly, having a Doran's Blade, having the 2% for Masteries, and having a Warlord's Bloodlust, Ricochet by itself doesn't really mess with you that hard, so we'll
until it's doing 800 damage in the late game with 70% crit Sivir.
Right, then you can't lifesteal that because you just die in 3 auto attacks. But
I agree though.
Ooh, good stun. He denied the cannon minion.
Oh, that matters.
That's like 47 gold or something.
A big wave too, with no dive being threatened.
Fabi takes turret shot, so does Matt.
I love the evolution of the series too, because in both Game 1 and Game 2, Santorin has gone for an early gank in the duo lane. This game he tried to switch it up, but it has already been warded by Fenix. So good job by Fenix to get the trinket ward down, even though he may have been lulled into a sense of security with Santorin going top lane so frequently. He's pinging onto Karma though. Santorin kind of wants to go, but he's got to be fearful of a counter gank.
Yeah, Santorin, he's going to be okay and going back into his own jungle. There's the ward coming down to spot his movements, and Santorin was spotted by that trinket once again. And in fact, he should have seen the debris as it died, so we should know he was spotted. But now, of course, he's in fog. Goes into Phoenix, a little bit of a wall right there, but a bit of damage onto Santorin, who will have to jump over. Doesn't lose too much of his health bar. Nice stun, nice poke on Dardoch down to half. But that only increases his through speed.
Very non-committal gank. Dardoch is drawn to the mid lane as well, hoping that Santorin would commit. So it hurts his clear speed a little bit, but you can argue it also slows down Dardoch. Really a low-cost, low-impact gank.
Yeah, ultimately. Well, all of NRG is low impact now that he's not on the roster anymore.
Okay. That was better than the time you tried to make seconds sound like thousands of years.
Thanks. You know what's sad, though, is Cloud9 has never been high impact. They haven't been on the same roster together.
Okay. No one has been... You stop.
I'm sorry. I'll move on. I apologize. Fenix in the mid lane right now, just holding equal. Not too terribly much going on. OQ has been holding up in farm, though. And actually, KiWiKiD has only used 1 potion, so even on the sustain war, NRG are fine. So the 2-on-2 going better than, honestly, I anticipated here. Quas once again dodging around with Lourlo.
I think getting the Krugs at the very start when Team Liquid did the route to deny jungle start, but then didn't deny anything, is actually pretty huge. You hear salty duo laners talking all the time about how they lost lane because the enemy team got a camp. Well, in this case, it's what's stopping NRG from losing the lane, at least by a large margin.
Yeah, they're certainly on one edge of the bell curve in terms of what the farm difference is supposed to be in this side. I do want to point out, though, that Lourlo's Shen pick has worked out so far. He's up 6 on Quas, and he's been kind of routinely ahead. You're seeing that actually be quite successful for him. But I don't know if we've really seen Shen win many games in North America, so
yeah,
we'll see if Liquid can make this one work.
Seeing it picked a lot, I think it's just unlucky so far that the Shen hasn't been able to win, because I think in lane it's doing quite well, and I think what Shen can bring to a team is all still very strong. I'm not entirely sure the best way you should be playing Shen in team fights, whether he should be just a full peeler or whether he should help dive buddy. Old Shen was very much someone who should be dive buddying, so it's like Olaf Shen, let's roll in there and just kill somebody.
Yeah.
But here it's a little bit more difficult to get the pass-through on your Q for the more powerful auto attacks. It goes up to like 7% max health per swing and gives you attack speed if you get the pass-through.
Right.
And that's easier to do when you're peeling than if you're diving. So maybe his best use is as a peeler. I think we're definitely have not seen the last of Shen, and we'll get plenty of times to analyze this throughout the season.
It'll definitely be fun to watch him. I think his best use in this game is putting the dodge zone down and preventing OQ's damage during his ultimate, and just saying, guys, group up like a Kindred ulti. Be immune to Vayne, which is perfect for everybody, and you can kind of get damage out while that's happening. As long as you don't take too much damage from the Anivia, you're going to be okay. NRG pretty auto attack focused. 2 of their major roles are auto attackers.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Lourlo manicures the freeze pretty nicely. It will be Quas forced to recall and make the slow walk back with 40 minion kills, Sheen, and Boots picked up. Lourlo had already made his first recall, got his Bombi Cinder to walk back down, and so can feel really good about the fact that he's just going to grow a minion lead and a level lead here, and look at where Dardoch is. Knowing how far up Quas has to play, and Santorin is nowhere to be seen.
Oh,
nice. I like where that Trinket Ward went, because it's far enough away that Dardoch can't axe him from Fog, but good enough that you can still see Dardoch gank him.
Yeah, and he didn't need to actually get in the tri-rush, because that's the one place Dardoch was hoping to get a kill. With the Ghost versus Flash, like you pop the Ghost immediately, even if it flashes, like if you land the X, you might even kill him, but at the very least you trade summoners and have your summoner back up sooner. So in a lot of different ways, that was a very crucial little Trinket Ward that Quas just placed.
Quas is actually one of the best Trinket Ward uses I've ever seen. Because I know there's some very, very hard ones. Like just below where Dardoch is now, there's like a very thick wall to the lane and the river brush. And you can actually toss it over the wall, not from like the north side here, but the east side on the far right near the turret. And there's like specific pixels you place it where you actually land the ward.
Oh dear.
Meanwhile, Dardoch in a really bad spot right now, just kind of jumping into the enemy team. He's got to fight GBM. Gets the blue buff, now running around as Fenix is joining the squad. But it's a bit of a weird fight as Quas running away, low on health. Looking for a bit more damage as Lourlo, but he gets stunned up and won't get much more. And hey, Dardoch gets a blue buff steal and gets away with his life.
Wow, that's exactly the type of play you dream of being able to make when you play Olaf. Like 0-0-0, everyone collapses on you. You just press all your buttons, run through a team, steal a buff, and get away. They very nearly won the fight on top of that as well, but Shen obviously helped him, the ultimate obviously helped him, and they get away with 3v3 and a blue buff.
And the Wolf camp even as well, so sad face for Santorin. And that's going to be one thing going over to Liquid side, but now the TP flank, Lourlo could maybe mirror, but here comes the Anivia and the Irelia. Good luck, TP. Babby flashed away from the stun, but he's still going to get locked up. There's first blood going through to Quas. Nicely played by NRG.
Yeah, and this time it is Quas that is making the teleport play, whereas Lourlo had been the one playing with his team so much more in the previous matchups, knowing the Shen ultimate is down, and then really surprising them with the double TP is huge. I wonder if GBM is going to be able to recover this lane a little bit. His blue buff getting denied as well as being up against the Vladimir with the Spectre's Cowl already puts him at a disadvantage. But watching this, the timing of the double TP was close to perfect. They both arrive, and while Matt does flash away from the stun from Anivia, doesn't clear enough distance to stop Quas from getting on top of him, and he'd already been tagged by the Braum Q. And now with no support in the lane, Fabi gets bullied out a little bit.
Yeah, and even though he was up 10 minions right now, you can see the item disparity in Fabi's favor right now. Again, it's BF Sword to Serrated Dirk. It gets a whole lot closer. The mid lane is also plus 30. Fenix is definitely ahead there, so maybe he can be the big wedge that opens this game for Liquid, but you gotta feel like NRG is doing okay. You're seeing the farm difference actually still means there's a gold lead for Liquid, something that will probably surprise a lot when you see the scoreline is 1-0 NRG's favor. But this is definitely still a very, very close game.
Yeah, absolutely agree, and we definitely do feel like OQ and GBM would play this pretty well in the late game, and even though Team Liquid has some pretty darn good scaling this time with the Vladimir and the Sivir, I still feel like it's Team Liquid that's going to be the ones trying to push the tempo, and it's still going to be NRG trying to be the slightly more reactive team. The biggest difference is actually in the mid lane here. I'm wondering if GBM is going to be able to farm it out more, because he's losing by a fair bit. Lourlo, though, see if they can burn a flash.
How he does flash away, was too afraid of the damage Santorin could do with a pounce afterwards. Even though there was no stun coming out of Quas, it was enough damage threat that Lourlo did burn the flash, and honestly, it's good on him to use it instead of just die and flash late. So I think the right choice and identifying the amount of threat he was under, but Dardoch makes it like top lane, and guess what? Sivir with the BF sword plus an Olaf, a lot of damage, knocks that down. At least Santorin gets to answer with the Cloud Drake, but I think that's still probably better for Liquid.
Yeah, it really depends if they can continue this push on to the next turret. Team Liquid has pressure in the mid lane and in the top lane right now, and Phoenix is actually roaming up, so see how much they can get off of this maneuver. Shen ult as well.
Just pops ulti, goes in for OQ, still has the aggro. Here comes the dive, and goodbye to Vayne. Already dropped down. Matt had aggro, walks away cleanly enough. This turret's still taking damage. KiWiKiD and GBM maybe showing back up, but no, GBM is leaving. This turret's gonna get low, reinforcements coming, but not in time. Liquid, 2 turrets in a row, and the dive works out.
Such a positive play for Team Liquid, and even though you can kind of give credit to NRG for not dying to the initial dive, because that had happened in previous games, they still die to an extra dive, and they lose even 2 turrets because they conceded the first one. Watching the execution of this one, this is NRG just not respecting the Shen. They knew a Vladimir could be roaming up. They think they're okay, but man, when
with a Shen on.
Zoomed in Olaf and Lourlo is right next to him for the unmissable point-blank taunt.
Yeah, and it didn't even get punished. Quas was recalling at the time. Lourlo was walking back into lane to ult up the Dardoch, so nothing really got penalized from the Irelia.
And GBM was matching the roam from Fenix, so like
literally
no other lanes had been pushed there, making it a strictly positive play for Team Liquid.
And it's good to see them actually find those aggressive tools. The Olaf Shen seems to be the actual engage they needed to actually work alongside what they were doing with the Sivir and Karma. They kept the same bottom lane, but they found new top laners and junglers to play alongside the lineup, and looks like that's working beautifully. And honestly, I kind of like the sort of newfound Lourlo Dardoch synergy. Those two seem to get a lot done together.
Yeah, and even in last split when they were a mainly bot lane focused team, there were a lot of ganks top lane from Dardoch to Lourlo, and they often got him ahead early in the games, and those were some of their best matchups. Here, though, it's more Lourlo. I want to say like Lourlo ganking for Dardoch, as dumb as that sounds, because pretty much Dardoch is putting himself in silly places, and then Lourlo also comes.
Yeah.
Because he's there with the ultimate.
It's true. It's been a little bit of that, honestly. And, you know, I know those two are very, very close friends, and I know Lourlo tended to get a lot of flack for his gameplay, but looked a bit better here in this split, especially when they give him a playmaker like this. And so far, it's okay. Once again, another dive coming through. Dardoch wants in, and KiWiKiD's in a bad spot. Will flash away from the roof, but OQ gets slowed down. Santorin on the wings, looking for a bit more to do. Dardoch is going to end up soon. He was exhausted. Now a wall just splits him up, and Dardoch is stuck. Stunned up against the wall. Matt dangerously low, but they still pick off OQ. No one else dying yet from Liquid. Oh, but Quas gets one to the backside, and he might get a whole lot more. He's looking for a lot, and Quas will make the 3rd kill maybe just happen. Meanwhile, the bot side, KiWiKiD running around trying to stay alive, and wow! Dardoch won't quite die, but there comes Fenix finally. Gets one with the transfusion. 2 deaths for Liquid, 4 deaths actually for NRG. A big victory for the blue side. Quas lands his stun, but he can't kill off Fenix. A shutdown goes through to Fabi, and that is an ace for 2.
And the kills have all gone to the carries for Team Liquid. Fenix getting 3 kills at this point, and Fabi having 2 is absolutely massive, and it looked like NRG was gonna be able to turn that around when they double TP the dive, but the fact that they invest the double TP to stop that and still lose the fight, and now Shen ultimate is back off cooldown, means this is set for a Team Liquid snowball.
6,000 gold up already, and they've got more global tools to use. Good luck to NRG. Let's watch that fight again.
Absolutely. So OQ is pretty low at the start of it, and they're using the speed to try and get in here, and Dardoch decides to turn around because he knows there's a double TP, and the exhaust actually doesn't burn much time. This is where the fight gets really crazy because GBM doesn't get a very good ultimate off, and I actually really loved the block zone that was put down by Lourlo right there, and it looked like Quas was going to be able to clean off this fight, but he spends so much time chasing Dardoch when GBM and KiWiKiD needed him down here. Like, imagine if Quas was hitting Fabi here, then maybe the egg gets to come back up, but because he couldn't finish the kill onto Dardoch, he basically abandons his teammates for the fight, and then is at the mercy of Fabi and Fenix after they had finished off the rest of his team. And now the Proto build is finished, and the Spirit Visage, before GBM even finishes his Roa.
Oh man, this is definitely rough stuff. Fenix was already up in farm and lane, but now he's up 50, as well as that 3 kills and 2 assists. So everyone kind of down the line doing wonderfully here on the Liquid lineup. And NRG, though they had that nice comeback in game 2, they sort of held on and withstood the punches. This seems much less likely here. This turret's taking plenty of damage. Fabi, though, pulls aggro, has to walk away, but bot lane tier 2, pretty close to dead. Fenix roams over to help make this one happen, and well, Liquid with Fabi maybe wins 2 matches in week 3.
Yeah, it's got to be a great week for Team Liquid, and what had been a problem for some of the past Team Liquid teams is they'd just be very inconsistent. They'd actually kind of beat the good teams, and then they'd lose to the teams they were supposed to beat. Maybe they're getting a little bit more consistent here because they had some, what they said to be easier matchups coming in this week. Yeah. And they may be able to bounce back to a 500 record, which would mean just as many wins as losses in 3-3. And like, this is the biggest early game lead they've had. And they also have Fenix and Fabi on the right champions for it.
Right, yeah, they can keep snowballing, keep making the dives happen and really knock these people around. To talk about sort of Liquid's run through the season so far, their losses, Envy, TSM, CLG, like those are all, in a way, respectable losses. Yeah, okay, CLG's form hasn't been that great, but Envy and TSM are almost number 1 and 2. Envy came maybe around 4, something like that, because they had lost to Immortals, but still obviously a solid lineup, and TSM clearly number 1. Their wins are against Echo Fox, Phoenix 1, and now maybe a 1-3, almost 1-4 NRG. It's not the most heartening, but at least they're looking pretty solid in their plays.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that has stepped up this week has really been Fenix. I know he won Player of the Game in both matchups yesterday.
Yeah,
and
against Phoenix 1.
He has played very solid in this game as well, especially against GBM, who, you know, is the building block in which NRG has tried to construct their new team. But like, especially in this game, even after playing this matchup a few times, like Fenix just seems to have gotten much better game over game. The first time he played the matchup, or the first time he played Vladimir, he was able to roam very well with it. This time in the Anivia versus Vladimir matchup, and a lot of times the Anivia gets picked into the Vladimir so it can kind of survive it. GBM's not surviving that well. Like a 50 CS discrepancy is way more than you want to pick yourself into. And now they're also controlling the objectives. No steal to be had this time. Let's see if they can keep the pressure up.
I think it's really likely, though, Liquid have not been passive at all in this game. The dives have actually, I guess, all worked out, to be completely honest here. So you just kind of expect more good things to come, and it's up to NRG to kind of withstand this and make something happen. 6,000 gold down as the red team hoping to turn this game 3 around. But look at that. They get to top lane outer turret and are like, oh no, our inhibitor's under attack. Everyone back up.
They're not willing to trade an outer turret for an inner turret, so they're backing away. But I don't know if they're going to make it in time. Phoenix is there with teleport if he wants to match. And Quas actually hasn't recalled.
Dardoch.
There he goes.
Okay. Actually burns summon or teleport. Again, the only hard CC Liquid has is specifically Lourlo's taunt. And I believe that doesn't stop Glacial Storm. So there's no way to other than him to stop teleports, no way to stop Glacial Storm. So, you know, eventually things get rough, and now Dardoch actually stuck inside the wall, has nowhere to go, stunned up, takes some damage.
Turning it around!
And then just turns it around anyway. He doesn't die in the worst possible situation here to have. And look at the damage they got back on NRG, who aren't even going to be able to put this round very successfully. You have Phoenix coming out of the Hemo Plague, there's plenty of damage there. Pools and under GBM, and look at the damage up, but Fabi staying alive just barely, does get whittled down. Egg is popped, GBM is low, Phoenix does not quite yet get stunned. Quas picks up Dardoch, they can pick up Phoenix as well. And yes, NRG found some glimmer of a comeback, 2 kills picked up.
Yeah, and that's 4 kills on Quas right now. They obviously would like a little bit more of the kills on to be GBM or OQ, but that's just not how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Definitely nice wall by GBM, showing the value of the Anivia pick, and then maybe a little bit of over-eagerness by Team Liquid trying to get good out of a bad situation where they should have just cut their losses, because that's now 2 kills and a turret over to NRG.
That's some nice things. So a little bit of breathing room here. No Drakes to take, but at least they got some gold back, and it's now down to a 4,000 deficit.
Yeah, beautiful wall. GBM maxing its second once again. Change it with the stun. Then Shen ultimate as the wall comes out to blow them away, and Dardoch is too low to really stay in the fight, so it's odd numbers. Also, Fenix has roamed around from the top, and he flashes for his E, or no, it was a Proto Belt in with his E, and then ults, but that's not enough to kill anyone. So now the rest of Team Liquid has low Dardoch and Fenix without a flash. So they really just have to back away. Fabi had also been chunked down in that fight, so a little bit of a dangerous fight for Team Liquid. They still don't have great turret killing. A bunch of short-range dudes having to dive in Anivia once again. So even though they have a big gold lead, that 6,000 gold lead is now 4,000, and they got to make sure they have a little bit more caution in their next aggressive play.
And GBM getting those walls, once again maxing that ability second here after his E, the targeted damage spill. It just has a lot of zone control tools. KiWiKiD with the ulti as well. Like, they've got such good champions for if you walk at us in a straight line, we can mess with everything you want to do. And you saw it there running through the jungle. Those missteps getting punished. Dardoch actually gets a blue buff because Phoenix doesn't really need it. So hey, have some CDR and some extra mana. Doesn't feel too bad for Olaf.
Yeah, Phoenix only sitting on 140 AP right now. One of the nice changes to the blue buff is it gives you 15% more AP. So I think late game Dardoch have no business taking that away. But for now, I think it's totally worthwhile because he wants to be able to keep his clear up.
Right. Dardoch can't use the AP. Phoenix can't use the mana. Dardoch just says, fine.
Yeah,
you just go lane.
I will take this now.
Yeah. He's actually high on CDR as well.
Teleport's still up for Phoenix, so he's going to get pressure in that lane. 5 turrets to 1 is absolutely huge, but depends on how many good moves GBM can find with the wall. Still really need more time for OP to get going. I do think like if this could be a 5,000 gold difference at 85,000 to 80,000, NRG would win the game. But at the moment, the power difference is just too large. NRG really just has to continue to try and stall.
Okay, well, we'll see if they can keep doing that. Anivia should be good at this, but Vayne is not quite twitched here in terms of those kinds of tools. Oki with a quick turnover to get himself a Hex Drinker, which is only for Vladimir, which I find a little bit surprising, but now the time coming in. Liquid wants to knock down KiWiKiD, who pops the ulti, doesn't get much done. Actually, he got spell shield, and OQ's just gone already. A great taunt coming across. He couldn't even flash to get away in time, and that's going to be 1 kill picked up. The turret under siege a little bit, but the minions are gone. Yeah,
when they can lock down OQ, that's when those initiations work best, and that is really scary. Dardoch being sped up by Sivir Karma and then having a Shen to extend his range. Like, you can't really contest the Baron realistically with that. What's good for NRG, though, is that they only lost 1 for what looked to be a much, like an all-in initiation. Now, though, with Baron being up, how do you stop this?
Well, maybe Santorin looking for the miracle steal. He's done it before. Phoenix running away, gets over the wall, and now the ward is there, so they know what's going on. And Liquid go for the re-engage, but a nice crystallized buys some time. Quas will be able to get away from Phoenix, and Baron will heal back up. So just the 1 for 0. The players losing pretty much all of their ultimates across the board. But at least some time was kind of bought by NRG, even if they lost OQ.
Yeah, I think it's very critical that they don't give away the Baron right there. Even with the Mountain Drake, TL, it's a little early, 21 minutes in. I feel like that's still a play Team Liquid can pull off in another 4 to 5 minutes or so and have much more success because they'll actually be able to kill the Baron with more items. So in no way is NRG out of the woods yet, but they are stalling pretty well for the 3rd game in a row.
They've at least got a map, so maybe they can find their way down the paths here. And maybe they'll see the sunlight yet. 5,000, though, still the gold deficit. Liquid getting rid of some of the wards. KiWiKiD kind of doing the same thing as well. Puts a pink ward in his sights, and smack, smack, down it goes. Killing it 20% faster than he would before the patch. Only 4 hit points now on pink wards.
I know, man. Graves is so happy that he doesn't have to reload another time to kill a pink.
Jhin even more so, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because at least Graves could have like used quick draw and like felt decent. Jhin was just really sad at all times.
True. Oh, Santorin's gonna take a lot of damage. Don't miss the jump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He might have had to flash if that happened, but he can heal himself back up. He can maybe recall. There's the home guard bonus, so he might be okay. But also, you still have the Rod of Ages being stacked up right there. The Seraph's Embrace not combined yet. Oh, this is happening though. Fabi in a bad spot, but Quas not even worth one. Worse one, sorry. Flashes over the wall. Does get away. A trade of, well, his summoners for nothing, basically. Fabi popped his ulti. Not as concerning.
Decent escape, actually, for Quas. The flash is obviously going to hurt to have down, but they burned 2 ultimates, so in the short term, it's all right until the ultimates come back and Flash is still on cooldown. They've got to get back to defend this, though. They've been so worried about the Baron pressure. but they give up a bunch of damage to their turret.
Good job by Dardoch and Fabi getting plenty done there. Turret down to about half health, I believe. And yeah, sitting at 1,700 health, roughly, so I think 3,300. Thank you, Observer, for clicking on it. Appreciate you. You loyal.
And this is still a high percentage win for Team Liquid.
Yes.
Even though NRG is stalling out decently well and the gold is still about 5,000. Like, they have the kills in the right place. They have Vladimir, who's really good in team fights. And they still have pretty good ways of initiating as long as they're using Baron as a bait. As far as actually diving the base is where they need to break it open. Like, they need to find a way to get an inhibitor down. Then I think they can get in the game. But they can use Baron to do that. And I think that's where this game will ultimately be clinched, or where NRG is going to come back, is whether or not Team Liquid can successfully kill NRG while NRG is trying to stop Team Liquid from doing Baron.
Definitely agree. So that Cloud Drake was picked up by Liquid. Their second is in. They've actually now matched the Cloud Drakes of Energy. Next one up will be Ocean here, and those graphics will be updated very shortly for all of you at home. Otherwise, I will happily narrate what's going on here. Quick wave clear from Fenix, and that's going to be okay. And yeah, high percentage win for Liquid. They're continuing to play the Baron bait game and hoping that Fenix probably did not need to pop that. And that is a 2-minute cooldown missing.
Yeah. He was just posing, showing everyone that he has Zhonya's.
Yeah. And Liquid do still have their Mountain Drake, by the way, so that buff is still there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, yeah, we have the marker slightly backwards, sadly, but
yep.
pretend they're the other way around.
Energy says, yep.
Yeah, and vice versa. Okay, so Baron bait's definitely still a threat, but OQ is still farming up. He's got Phantom Dancer, so as long as he can survive, now he's an even better duelist against Olaf. Definitely a great item to pick up. His only lifesteal is still coming from his Keystone Mastery, though, which means if he gets whittled down, it doesn't come back that quickly. Dardoch walled off once again. Pops guilty and runs north. So Phoenix goes over the wall. They want this fight, actually, and it's going to be him zoning out OQ, who's actually surviving reasonably well, has a Hexbreaker. But look at KiWiKiD. He's already going to be going down, and the egg pop, it's 2 kills, it's 3 kills, it's Liquid killing absolutely everybody. Now Quas left alone, taunted up. He's going to be the 4th casualty quite often. And now it's OQ only alive.
Yeah, and a minion wave in a pretty good spot up on the top side, and 30-second death timers across the board. So that was just exactly the fight Team Liquid would have wanted. Even though NRG is actually the ones trying to get the pick, that's the fight Team Liquid would have wanted to get between the Baron pit and the NRG base in order to break open the base.
So Liquid just go in there, hack, did a dive, and say, you're not under turrets, great, let's fight right now. 5,000 gold lead was all we needed to win this one, and it looks like it's going to happen right there. OQ chunked out by a couple of Qs, and you're going to see his health bar going to O as well as the second turret going down. KiWiKiD respawning. The teammates are coming soon, so maybe there's a small chance. Dardoch is low, and it's going to be the fight to try to save the Nexus. It's a very low health Dardoch. They're going onto it, but there's maybe enough damage as Fabi keeps putting the auto attacks down. Spell shields up a bit of the damage, and 2 more autos will do it. That will be the game. That will be the series. Liquid improved to 3-3.
Yeah, and this was a 2-1 victory, but all 3 early games were in the favor of Team Liquid, so I think they can come away with this with a fair bit of confidence, at least in their early game strategy. Dardoch had terrific jungle pathing in all of the games. Fenix played very well, and Fabi did his part in these games too. So they had the one tough loss in the middle of the series, but ultimately that doesn't matter. They walk away with a win over NRG.
Fabi going unkilled in the last game, the only person on his team to do so, actually. And we finally got to see what the Shen's supposed to do against Irelia. Held up against the matchup. We never saw the split push mean anything. And when you've got a player like Dardoch who wants to go hard all the time, turns out that's a really good combo. Just like, let's go pile drive in with a Sivir ulted Olaf. Oh, we're in the back line killing everybody. Liquid's dives were absolutely great. It was really fun to watch them. And they were almost always right in their choices. When they said to go for a dive, it turned into a kill in a turret, or 4 kills in a turret.
Yeah, their best game was their final game, and that's what you want to have when you're playing a best-of series, is to get stronger throughout that series. Fabi's got to feel pretty good as well, having another day on stage. This time, he's in the bigger arena. Last night, he was in the theater. So, playing in front of many more people. For NRG, though, GBM really fell far behind in lane, and Fenix was really difficult for his team to deal with. And OQ had 2 games where he was just never able to get farmed. The Vayne is always a very dangerous pick. He just fell so far behind and was never able to have an influence over the team fights.
Wasn't able to dodge the 2-on-2. He was in mirrored lanes, I think, every single game, so no lane swaps came out for NRG. And some